catching, fielding, and hitting, demonstrated by DePauw Tiger players. And here to introduce our first guest is our host, Terry Ryan.
Good afternoon, this is Outlook. On today's show, we're going to give you a look at one of the most successful sports on the DePauw campus, and that's baseball. In the last 2 seasons, the Tigers have won over 40 ball games and received invitations to the Ncaa Tourney both years. There are many reasons for this, both on the field and off. We're going to try to give you a look at both. Our first guest is sort of the brains behind the operation, Coach Ed Meyer. Coach, welcome.
Hi, Terry.
Coach, is there anything unique about your program that's made it so successful?
Well, I'm not sure that it's totally responsible for the success, Terry, but we have what I title an optional year-round baseball program. In other words, we make every effort to play ball every day we're on the DePauw campus. We have a fall program. When the weather turns bad, we move indoors and continue to work trying to strengthen ourselves physically and work on the skills that will make us better. We do break naturally during Christmas vacation. We return to the campus during our independent study period called winter term, and we have a baseball class. The students can take it for credit. It's not exclusively for baseball players, but a large number do take it. We use videotape cameras to study pitching mechanics and hitting mechanics, and we do it in a classroom setting, so the players aren't really preparing for a ball game, but they're preparing to know more about those 2 aspects of the game of baseball. And then comes the spring season when we hope everything comes together and we're able to participate. So we do play baseball year-round for those who have the time. Now, again, I use the term optional simply because DePauw is unique in that many of our athletes play more than one sport. Some of our athletes choose study abroad, so they might not be on the campus to take part year-round. And we feel that our program gives all of those people an opportunity to play baseball. For those that want it, we're there, and for those that are involved in other things, they're free to do that.
What are the chances of an athlete participating in the year-round program and then going on and competing in another sport?
Well, he has to pick and choose, Terry. If a boy goes out for a fall sport, that has to take priority over anything that we do. But it doesn't eliminate him from the program. In other words, at this present time, there are 6 or 7 of our boys who are regulars on the football team. We'll have 1 or 2 who are basketball players. When they finish their competing season in the other sport, they'll return to us, and they'll be competitors. There'll be a place for them.
Sure. I mentioned in the opening, Coach, about the Ncaa Tourney, which the team's been invited to the last couple of years. What kind of an experience is that for a ball club to get invited to the tourney?
Well, first year it was a fantastic experience. We've not been during my tenure as coach, and when that first invitation came, the players were thrilled. So was I. We were good. We felt we were good. We knew that the tournament would be very stiff competition, and as the draw would go, we chose the #1 team in the nation to play in our first ball game, and we were successful. We won. We went on and won 2 ball games and lost 2 in a double elimination tournament. But we felt that we had great national exposure. We played against people who were considered the best, and we played them even. This last year, we weren't as successful with the wins, but we were in with the same class of people. I don't think that the players thought it was exciting as the first time, but we weren't as successful as we were the first time.
In your view, Coach, what constitutes a successful season?
Well,
sorry to put you on the spot.
it's really not won and lost record, although that sure makes things a lot easier. Again, it would be an individual thing. It would be my rapport with each individual player that would determine some success. But I think that in every program there has to be a tremendous amount of enjoyment gotten, not just from a victory over an opponent, but from every practice period. If you leave the field happy, satisfied with your work, then I think it's a good program.
Great. What kind of an athlete do you look for to be a part of your program, Coach?
Well, we seek the very, very best. We spend a great deal of time in the state of Indiana and Illinois because we draw a lot of students from that area. We try to get the boy who has the best credentials in baseball. Many, many times they want to choose a larger school or a school in an area where they can play more baseball games, but that doesn't stop us from trying to get them. If we're successful just 1 time out of 50, we can be very successful as a program.
Great. How would you go about actually recruiting an athlete
Well, we use a lot of our alums to help us. We use newspaper articles, coaches that I've met that I know, just a general writing initially to all high schools in the area. And then it begins to narrow down. In other words, boys express an interest in DePauw. We see that there's a possibility that he can be a student athlete at our university, and it's an application filling out period and an encouragement time. We have them visit our campus, and we think that's a key to it. If we can get them down to visit DePauw, we think that what we have will sell if we can get a person there to see it.
Great. Coach, the NCAA, as you well know, is broken down into 3 divisions. DePauw is a Division III school. Could you explain to us what this means?
Yes, I think most people have it in the idea that small schools are Division III, big schools are Division I, and it's almost true. But the real distinction is in the philosophy of giving financial aid. Division III schools give aid based on a form that indicates financial need, or they give aid based on an academic excellence. In other words, you don't get a scholarship because you're a baseball player. If you're a baseball player and have one or both of the other qualities, in other words, show financial need or are a very, very good student, then you receive aid. And I think that's the difference between the 1 and the 2. They give aid based on an ability that a person might have.
There's a lot more emphasis on the athletic department?
I don't want to say that.
Okay.
I want to say there's more money spent on bringing an athlete in. I don't think there's more emphasis put on the program.
Coach, with the academic standards that are at DePauw, what kind of a strain does this put on an athlete participating in baseball?
I think there is there's a conflict. But I think the conflict works in our favor, and I explain it this way. We don't have the amount of time for practice as many schools might have. But because of that, our players show up for practice and are very dedicated to what they have to do. I think they use their time efficiently, and I think that's probably the importance of any practice, is not to stand around and do little or nothing, but to get there, get busy, get it done, and then get back home, and if you have studies or another place to go on and do it. So I use it as a positive part of our program.
Is there a willingness on the part of any of your athletes to put in an additional, more time into
Absolutely.
baseball?
Our facilities are available all the time for the players to practice. And there are many who will use it on any given day for an extra half hour before practice or an extra half hour after practice. And for the boy who wants to spend 2.5 or 3 hours on one given day to do baseball, there's a chance for him.
Great. Coach, you mentioned before the fall program. What are the main goals of this fall program?
Well, I use our fall program as an observation period. In other words, I've recruited some freshmen. There are many, many freshmen who come out who I've never seen play. There are always players who return to our squad who, for one reason or another, are being changed in their position. I sit back and watch in the fall. We don't teach a lot of technique. We just observe, and I try to make judgments of my own as to whether one boy can help us at this position, whether a new boy can help us at another position, and it serves as a very, very good tool to select the team that will play in the spring.
Is this fall baseball a common practice throughout the U.S. among colleges?
It's becoming very, very big, Terry. A few years ago it was unheard of, but now everybody wants to get a jump on the spring season. The weather is good now. Boys are coming out of summer programs so that they're ready to play, and it's a very simple thing then to organize the team, get them playing, and then make some of your judgments.
Great. When the spring season comes around, we've been having some inclement weather the last few years. How does this affect your program?
Well, we find that it does have some effect, but we don't rain out as many ball games as people might think. I think the biggest danger of a rainy spring is the lack of practice time. When you rain out a ball game, that means you can't work, and it's that rustiness that develops when you're not able to practice the skills that are necessary. We don't rain out a lot of ball games, but it does cost us some practice time.
Great. Coach, have any of your past players been given professional recognition, a shot at the pros?
Well, this last year we had both a pitcher and a catcher invited to Cincinnati to try out after our baseball tournament experience. Joe Trimble, our senior catcher, and Bobby Kyle from Clinton, Indiana, who had 2 outstanding years as a pitcher for us, both went to Riverfront and did the very best they could. They were not kept, but they had the opportunity to play with people who were of the top caliber, and I think they were very pleased with that opportunity.
Great. Coach, let's take a look at some fundamentals now with a little demonstration here. We're going to be demonstrating pitching, catching, fielding, and hitting. How would you rank these in importance to the success of a baseball team?
I don't think there's any question. Pitching is the most important part of it, probably 90% of the whole thing. We have two pitchers today with us who are going to demonstrate the fundamentals of pitching. Steve Ray, big senior right-hander who's from Clinton, Indiana. He's going to talk to us about the fastball and the forkball.
Okay, there are various pitches that a pitcher uses in the game of baseball, and probably the most important, which I feel and most pro scouts feel, is the fastball. Without the fastball, most pitchers are not going to be very successful. Okay, there are two basic ways to hold the fastball, and one of them is to hold the ball across the seams. This will tend to make the ball rise. Whenever you throw the ball, you let go of it like this, and the ball will tend to rise. And the way I hold the fastball, I hold the ball with the seams. I found this most comfortable for me. I get better control. The ball tends to tail, moves a little better for me. And the way I throw the fastball is, okay, I throw the ball over the top like this, and I try to keep my arm up high, because I'm coming down then, and the ball will tend to, at a decline, and it'll go down, and the ball will tend to tail when I hold the ball like this. Okay, another pitch that I use is a very hard pitch to throw. Not too many people can throw it because the way you have to hold the ball, and this is called the forkball. Okay, the way I hold it, I have my middle finger on this seam, and then I hold the other finger on the ball with no seam. Okay, and you have to keep the ball back in as far as you can, and this will help out in the pitch. Okay, when I throw the ball again, I throw the ball up over the top, and as I'm getting ready to let loose the ball, I kind of pull my hand back. Okay, this will tend to make the ball, as it's going in, it'll take a lot of speed off the ball, and it'll tend to make the ball hop a little bit. It'll drop right at the end. When I'm throwing the pitch, I don't really know where it's going, because it just does so many different things if it's working. And I found this a very good pitch to throw, especially to a big power hitter. It's a good off-speed pitch, good change of pace. It's just an excellent pitch, and if one can master it and throw it with good success, it's an excellent pitch to have.
Great.
Terry, I don't watch when he throws the forkball. I have somebody on the bench tell me what happens.
Is that a very commonly used pitch?
No, it's not.
No.
Our next pitcher is Tim Monday from Terre Haute. Tim is going to show us the curveball and the slider. Tim is an excellent curveball pitcher, and I think it'll be very interesting to hear him talk.
Okay, as Steve was saying, fastball is probably your most effective pitch. And in my opinion, the curveball is probably your second most effective pitch. The curveball is a changeup, so it helps keep the batter off stride, which is really important for a pitcher. Okay, the way I throw my curveball is I hold it across the seams like this, with my middle finger down this seam and my thumb on the back seam. As you throw your curve, you come over the top, and right at the top you snap your wrist. That's where you get all your break, is in your snap of your wrist. When you're throwing the curve, you think of, as you're coming over the top, you think of coming over the barrel and crossing a 7. As you come over the barrel, that gives your best drop, and you cross the 7 to get your best break. My next pitch is a slider. Your slider it looks like a fastball as it's coming into the plate, and in the last second it breaks off like a curve, so this throws the hitter off. I throw my slider with my middle finger on this seam and my thumb on the opposite seam in the back. You throw a slider, you come over the top, you keep a stiff wrist, and you throw it as if you're throwing a football. You just come over, follow through, the ball comes in like a fast and breaks like a curveball.
Timmy has a very good curveball and does a good job for us.
Great.